Welcome back, future professionals. Jackson again. Cosmetology and barbering are among the oldest professions in the world, dating back thousands of years to ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome, where grooming was linked to culture, health, and status. Over the centuries, barbers once served as barber surgeons, while cosmetologists advanced the art of beauty through skincare, hair design, and cosmetics. As the trades grew, so did the need for safety and professional standards. By the late 1800s, barber schools opened in the United States and cosmetology schools soon followed. States began to require training, licensing, and sanitation practices to protect clients and ensure professionalism. Today, both fields honor their rich history while operating under strict regulations that elevate them as respected, skilled careers. Barbering is one of the world's oldest professions, with roots tracing back over 6,000 years. In ancient Egypt, barbers shaved the heads of priests and nobles as part of sacred rituals. In Greece and Rome, the barbershop wasn't just for grooming, it was a social hub where men gathered to talk politics and philosophy. During the Middle Ages, barbers became barber surgeons, performing bloodletting, pulling teeth, and even minor surgeries. That's where the barber pole comes from, the red for blood, white for bandages, and later blue for veins. By the 1800s, barbering shifted toward personal grooming and style. Shops became community gathering places, and the first barber schools opened in America. Today, barbering blends tradition with modern artistry. From fades and shaves to beard design, barbers continue a craft that's been shaping culture for thousands of years. The history of cosmetology is also as ancient as civilization itself, with roots stretching back to the earliest human societies. Cosmetology, the study and application of beauty treatment, encompasses a broad range of practices including skincare, hair care, nail care, and cosmetics. The evolution of these practices reflects changes in cultural ideals, technological advancements, and social structures over millennia. Ancient Egyptians are among the earliest known cultures to use cosmetics. They applied kohl to darken their eyelids and lashes for protection against the harsh sun and to ward off evil spirits. They also used red ochre for lips and cheeks and henna to color their hair and nails. In ancient China, during the Shang dynasty, people used gum arabic, gelatin, beeswax, and egg to stain their fingernails, with colors representing social class. The use of rice powder on the face for a whiter complexion became popular in later dynasties. The Baroque and Enlightenment periods saw an increased use of makeup among both men and women in Europe, with white leaf face powder and rouge becoming particularly fashionable. However, the toxicity of some cosmetics led to health problems. The Victorian era emphasized modesty and natural beauty, leading to a reduction in the use of overt cosmetics. Skincare routines focused on cleanliness and the use of natural products like rose water. In the early 20th century, the invention of the motion picture and the rise of Hollywood had a profound impact on barbering and beauty standards. Makeup became more socially acceptable, and the first commercial makeup products were introduced. Innovations in science and technology revolutionized cosmetics, leading to the development of safer, more diverse, and effective barber and beauty products. The latter half of the century saw the rise of the modern barber and beauty industry, with brands and products catering to an increasingly wide range of beauty standards and personal preferences. Today, the cosmetology industry is marked by a focus on inclusivity, sustainability, and ethical sourcing. Advances in technology continue to influence beauty practices, with digital platforms and social media playing significant roles in shaping trends and ideals. Throughout history, the practices and perceptions of cosmetology have been influenced by a multitude of factors, including geography, class, and technology. The industry continues to evolve, reflecting the dynamic nature of human culture and societal norms. In the vast, sun-drenched landscapes of Texas, the hum of a barber's clipper or the whir of a cosmetologist's blow-dryer is as much a part of the daily chorus as the distant call of cattle or the chirping of cicadas at dusk. The barbershop and the beauty salon, each with their own traditions, have long been cornerstones of Texan communities, places where stories are shared, news is debated, and transformations, both subtle and dramatic, are made. But beyond the warm nostalgia of the old-time barbershop and the welcoming glow of the salon lies the intricate tale of regulation for classic barbers and licensed cosmetology operators in the Lone Star State. The journey of regulation began in earnest in the early 20th century. As Texas communities grew and industries modernized, there was a clear need to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public in matters of personal grooming and beauty. Titles such as Class A Barber and Cosmetology Operator were introduced to designate those who had attained a professional standard of proficiency, marked not only by education, but by extensive hands-on experience. Today, the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, or TDLR, oversees the standards for these professions. Before one can claim the title of Class A barber or licensed cosmetology operator, they must complete a rigorous program of 1,000 hours of training in a licensed school. This training is no small task. It spans a broad range of skills, from cutting, coloring, and styling hair to understanding skin and nail care, the anatomy of the scalp and face, hygiene and sanitation protocols, and even the principles of electricity as they apply to modern tools. Once those hours are earned, aspiring professionals face a two-tiered examination, a practical demonstration of their skills and a written test that explores the theory behind barbering and cosmetology. Only upon successful completion are they granted a license, an official passport to practice their craft legally and proudly in the state of Texas. Cosmetology and barbering are two professions that command immense respect. For their impact on personal aesthetics and self-confidence, neither are only about skill and artistry. They are also deeply rooted in adherence to strict standards and regulations. These regulations, established primarily for the health and safety of professionals and their clients, are essential in ensuring best practices in areas ranging from sanitation and hygiene to licensing and ongoing education. From the tools they use to the products they apply, every aspect of these professions is governed by rules designed to maintain high professional standards, protect consumers, and preserve the industry's integrity. In diving deeper into this subject, one recognizes that these regulations are not mere bureaucratic formalities, but pivotal pillars ensuring the wellness and satisfaction of every individual who steps into a salon or barber shop. To truly understand how the regulation of barbering and cosmetology has evolved, you have to start at the very beginning. By the end of the 19th century, barbering had separated from religion and medicine, emerging as an independent profession. During the late 1800s, the profession's structure changed, and it began to take new directions. During this era, the emergence and growth of these organizations helped establish precedents and standards that are part of today's barbering profession. The Barbers' Protective Association was organized in 1886. In 1887, it became the Journeyman Barbers International Union of America at its first convention in Buffalo, New York. The union was affiliated with the American Federation of Labor. By 1963, the name had changed to the Journeyman Barbers, Hairdressers, Cosmetologists, and Proprietors International Union of America. The first barber and licensing law set standards for sanitation, minimum education, and licensing requirements for barbers and barbershops in Minnesota. The setting of standards was vital because it was common for towels, shaving brushes, and other barbering tools to be used on more than one customer, without being disinfected in between. These practices allowed for bacteria, parasites like head lice, and infections like ringworm and herpes to spread from one person to another, casting a bad light on barbers and barbershops. Similar laws that included hand washing, powdered astringents, regular floor sweeping, and the disinfection of tools were soon passed in other states in response to the need to protect the public from infectious conditions. Of course, all of this looks a little different here in Texas today. In Texas, separate cosmetology regulations started in 1935 with the creation of the Texas Cosmetology Commission. The state established licensing exams and safety rules to protect the public and ensure quality education. In 2005, oversight shifted to the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, or TDLR, which continues to govern licensing, inspections, and curriculum standards today. Senate Bill 411 followed with the goal of improving management, streamlining processes, lowering fees, and strengthening enforcement. The next major reform took place in 2021. Texas House Bill 1560 consolidated barbering and cosmetology into a single chapter, deregulated wig-related services, abolished instructor licenses, and standardized regulations. It is important to note that although the consolidation merged the regulation of barbering and cosmetology into a single chapter, the Class A barber and cosmetology operator practitioner license is still a completely separate credential. TDLR sought a reason to support the separation of the two licenses and determined that it would be eyelash extensions for cosmetology. Barbers were allowed to maintain exclusive rights for the straight razor shave. In the end, this consolidation was more for the convenience of the state agency and not the public or industry as a whole. The next change, implemented on September 1, 2023, led to what is possibly the most negative impact on student outcomes. Texas no longer requires cosmetology operator applicants as well as related specialties to hold a high school diploma or GED. The regulatory changes stem from a broader consolidation and reform of barbering and cosmetology statutes and rules under House Bill 1560 and associated rule changes. In other words, Texas Classic Barber candidates have never been required to have high school diploma or GED. To make the consolidation work, certain compromises were required. Many educators expressed concern that applicants without a diploma, GED, or a successful score on an ability to benefit test have weaker foundational skills, such as reading comprehension. These student factors could affect safety, client communication, or business practices. We now know the impact this change had on written test scores. What we do not know is how many students enroll in a Texas cosmetology or barbering education program by taking out student loans or signing for a payment plan. We also do not know how many students fail the written exam on the first try and never make a second attempt, or how many make a second attempt and fail again. No one is sharing data that points to the number of students who have completed an expensive barber or cosmetology education program without being prepared to pass licensure exams. This makes it difficult to determine the true impact of unqualified educators in the classroom. Schools need to strengthen curriculum, instruction, and evaluation to ensure that students, regardless of academic background, are prepared. It may require additional oversight, guidance, or mentoring programs to support licensees who lack traditional academic preparation. Schools that employ highly qualified educators should be able to meet this demand. Those who do not seek and hire qualified educators will likely struggle. After all, teaching is a science. TDLR has failed to monitor and adjust for student outcomes and exam success. The regulation changes will certainly continue to lead to negative public outcomes for both cosmetology and barber clients. Let us not ignore the impact the last few years have had on students. Sadly, students are the forgotten factor in a decade of legislative changes. Overall, Texas barber and cosmetology practitioners feel that many growth opportunities, credentials, and standards of excellence have been eradicated by the Texas legislative body. Over the last 3 legislative sessions, TDLR has gained total control of how and when rules are developed, changed, or adopted for our industry. Nothing outside of confusion and insult has been added. Those specific rule changes continue to be implemented. TDLR reports the overall impact has been a more unified, standardized. In the department's view, results are an efficiently managed regulatory framework for the state's cosmetology and barber industry. You will hear a different story outside of the state agency and legislative session. Licensed professionals in Texas would argue that the merger has left many individuals with expensive yet worthless earned credentials like the abolished instructor license, a credential that was once required to gain employment in the cosmetology and barber education space. Many former licensees spent thousands of dollars and countless hours to continue their education to expand their career into the education side of the industry. There are a large number of who are still paying student loans on a credential that was once required for employment and now simply no longer exists. No one has a grandfathered credential. The barber and cosmetology instructor license numbers have been completely erased. Since 2021, the written exam pass rate for both the cosmetology and barber written exams has continued to decline. More than half of potential licensees fail the written exam. TDLR has addressed this statistic with commissioners in many meetings. Many agency staff members attempt to explain it away by saying they expect to see results level out over the next few years. However, no one seems to know how this will happen. Furthermore, examining the negative effects of the aforementioned legislative and agency changes may be off limits. Neither the agency nor the commissioners have publicly considered that possibly mistakes were made over the last few years. TDLR is a licensing and regulation agency. Many question their ability to effectively determine education and curriculum standards. Licensed Texas cosmetology and barbering professionals want and deserve an administrative and regulatory body that protects both clients, licensed practitioners, and students. But the journey doesn't end there. Like all professionals governed by standards and ever-evolving practices, barbers and cosmetologists must renew their licenses periodically. This ensures they remain current on the latest in hygiene protocols, product safety, equipment use, and other critical aspects of their craft. Some argue that regulation and bureaucracy might restrict the creative freedom of the trade, yet many others view it differently. For them, regulations are not only about preventing infections or injuries during a haircut, color, or shave. They are about safeguarding the trust clients place in their beauty and grooming professionals. They elevate the industry, granting both barbers and cosmetologists the recognition and respect of a licensed profession. And so in towns big and small, from the bustling streets of Houston to the serene expanses of West Texas, the legacy of the professional classic barber and the licensed cosmetology operator continues. Behind every trim, style, or shave is a story of dedication, commitment to excellence, and a testament to the lengths Texas goes to ensure its traditions. no matter how everyday they may seem. They are held to the highest standards. Again, this is Jackson. On behalf of Texas barber and cosmetology educators, we invite you to join us in our goal of ensuring a professional and reputable cosmetology and barbering industry in the great state of Texas. We believe in the power of collaboration. Have a great day. Keep calm and cut on.